Well, I got away from the country's tallest buildings for a few days.
What did you do?
I have some observations from Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Huh.
Now, Milwaukee's just down the road, but it had to be, 50 miles. So you were still far away from the country's tallest buildings.
Okay.
And Road America is right up there with Arroyo Seco and Lime Rock and Watkins Glen. And it's a neat track, 4.2 miles. It's a road course. And the only reason I was there because it was the vintage. One of the segments of racing this weekend was vintage, the old vintage British stuff.
Got it.
Okay. So every night there's a parade of the race cars that want to participate. They leave the track and drive 2 miles into downtown Elkhart Lake itself. There is an Elkhart Lake, and the village of Elkhart Lake is on the lake. It's just quaint as hell. And its history in auto racing goes back to the beginning of the 20th century. I don't know why I didn't do the research yet. But in any event, here's this parade. Well, I don't know if they do it every race weekend at Road America.
But they did this weekend.
But they did this time. And for as far as the eye can see, there are pickup trucks parked on the shoulder. And they got guys sitting in lawn chairs in the pickup trucks.
In the bed? In
the bed of the truck, watching the parade of cars go by. And they're all having a beer and a cold one, and they're giving the high fives and the whole deal.
That's cool.
Okay, here's my observation. That is so far away from Mitra Jalali and AOC and Melvin Carter and anyone. And it's so far away from most people in government that it's almost undefinable. That world is so far removed from bicycle paths that I wonder what's going to happen when the two worlds ultimately must meet. For example, these people sitting in pickup trucks, they don't give a bleep about your pronoun. Right?
Yes. Thank God, I'm so glad you did this. Oh, my God.
They don't give a bleep about bike paths. They don't give a bleep about
sustainability.
So what's going to... So you come along and under the guise of saving the earth, you're going to tell these guys, you know what? You can't drive a pickup truck anymore. You want to bet?
Right.
I mean, what's going to happen? What will happen?
The same thing that happened during COVID.
Bingo.
Which you guys probably might not be fully aware of, but there's towns in the Midwest that didn't acknowledge COVID at all.
Right.
At all.
It almost, Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong, it was, oh, that's adorable.
The bars stayed open. The front door just was locked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm talking about more than a bar staying open.
Right. But
Kenny's giving you an example of what would happen.
I know. But I'm just saying the divide between these two Americas is so vast. It's incalculable. It's hard to wrap your hands around it.
I'm so glad you brought up the fact that what will happen when these two factions meet. Because what I've noticed is people that you mentioned, Mitra and everybody living next to the tall buildings. I could have
picked any name. I'm just picking those just for the hell of it.
They would love to control the lives of the people who live in the country. But the opposite is not true. Country folks don't give one damn about what happens in the city and would not want to control what goes on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is... It's impossible to wrap your arms around. That's how different it is.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice the happiness?
Well, yes.
It's just palpable. It's just everybody's happy.
But the thing is, Joe, you don't have to drive to Elkhart, Wisconsin to experience that.
You can do it anywhere.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, I make the trek to the big city back home every day. And it is noticeable once you get outside of the loop, right? Mm-hmm. When you exit the 694, 494 loop, you notice a difference. You just do.
And I'm sure Elkhart Lake is not unique. There are dozens of Elkhart Lakes in every state in the Union. But it's all over the United States. And someday, though, there's going to be a reckoning. And I just don't know what's going to happen.
I think where Joe was at was it was actually a little better than everywhere else, just for the fact that Elkhart Lake and Road America, it's a celebration of cylinders there, of all types.
Oh, it really is.
And lovers of cylinders and racing and cars and bikes of all types meet and gather there. And I think that's what just makes it even better than any old random local area.
And you take the modern city council member from St. Paul or Seattle or Chicago, and you put them in that scene, they'd lose it. They'd have to have earplugs and a mask, and they wouldn't know how to breathe. They'd be nervous.
Or would they ask, well, why can't we have that here? Not realizing that their own policies are preventing that very thing from happening.
Oh, it was fun. It was really great. All those race weekends.
But this is exactly why, and I get it, a much, 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 much smaller scale. I've been begging you to go down to the Henderson show on a Tuesday night in the summer. You get to see a little bit of that Americana.
I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of car shows everywhere.
And by the way, Henderson's not lining my pocket in any way. It's just that's so you. It's 100% up your alley.
And then you could pay a $90 fee, and you could drive the track between races on Saturday at noon.
That's cool.
And so I did it. Why you wouldn't do it is beyond me.
Would you throttle her up?
I probably got her up to 45. Well, here's the
tires
deal.
start wobbling.
They're parade laps.
It's a parade lap led by a new Corvette, but the rules you're given, you have to sign a waiver. You can't pass, and I was really disappointed in the not passing part, because I happened to follow a guy who was very cautious in the turns. And so I kind of felt a little...
You could have come in
down
hot.
The turns.
Could have come in hot and given him a dirty slide job.
Rubbin's racing. Rubbin's racing.
But the other reason to do that is it really gives you an idea of the track. So when you're sitting there and you don't see, you can hear the cars, but you can't see them. You know where they are now because you just did it. And
take us in, Rook. Is the mayor strapping the helmet on?
No, I got helmet.
this.
There was no
he's got
helmet.
double down. He's got the double seatbelt on.
But I filmed a couple of Ferraris who were also going to do it. We're all lined up waiting for the checkered flag to go out there. And I texted my kid and I said, see these cars here? I expect to exchange a little paint with these fellas.
I'm going to warn you next year when IndyCar is there, because it's fun to watch just for the in-car cam, so you can see what it's like.
Wait, IndyCars are there next summer?
IndyCars are there every year.
Oh, every year? Oh,
yeah.
Because there are open-wheel cars there this year.
Yeah. And it's great because of the cameras on the car, so you can see what it's like at speed, and it's hair racing. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, in the future, just to extend this just for a few more moments, because I've got a lot to get to, but in the future, you look at something as massive and as popular as auto racing, for example. How can the euphorians stymie it? Because they will. It'll change. Maybe in 15 years, these are all electric cars. I don't know.
I don't think so.
They
can't.
When they come after
monster.
Well, when they come after us, it's going to be hot and heavy. My nephew's line when we go to stock car races and the car's smoking, that guy really hates the environment, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know, and the fuel that you burn and the oil and the smoke and the dirt and the dust, they've got a lot of things to come after us for.
Yeah. If you're looking for something with your family to do, you go to the Elkhart Lake website and just pick a race weekend. They're really cool.
Is it an every weekend situation?
Pretty damn near from May through October.
Yep, very busy in the summer, including motorcycles too.
Yep, they got the bikes.
Cool.
And you can pay $4 for a bottle of water. You can really live it up. A bottle of water for $4.